Elon Musk may be winding down his role at DOGE, but the movement isn't losing steam. Musk and his team detailed their mission to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from the federal bureaucracy and what they described was a game of cronyism whack-a-mole.
So they're just stealing the money before it even gets anywhere.
There's layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Subcontractor,
You start peeling the onion.
subcontractor.
Yeah, exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion.
DOGE says it has saved $160 billion, roughly $1,000 per taxpayer. The goal is to make waste so hard to restart, it's not even worth trying, no matter who holds power.
Is DOGE just getting started? This is a long-term enterprise.
It's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can Doge when Democrats get back in power.
We're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud.
All right, Tiffany, what do you think? When Elon Musk exits, okay, do you think DOGE is kind of going to go the way of, I'll say, the dodo bird and be gone? Or do you think DOGE lives?
Oh, yes. DOGE lives on. From the very beginning, Elon wasn't planning on staying the whole time, and he has a whole team set up underneath him to tackle this and take it on. Not only that, he's working very closely with Congress, with members in the House and in the Senate. I even met with some in the Senate who have said, like, we are on top of this and we know what's going on, working very closely with Elon and his team. There are some government employees who have 2 to 3 credit cards with no oversight at all. I mean, when Elon says this is just the beginning of unveiling it, it is. And this is exactly the reason that Donald Trump was elected in November, overwhelmingly. Americans are ready for transparency and accountability within the government because it's our money.
Madison, the DOGE team's got some really senior people. It's got a lot of young people who are really excited about this. I think they got excited because they could work with and for a guy like Elon Musk. They seem to be a lot of the engine driving this right now. Do you think that enthusiasm is going to be there as the leadership of this thing transitions?
Admittedly, I do think it will be a bit tougher. I think Elon Musk brings a lot of power to DOGE. However, we heard from one young man who I think left Harvard to be on the DOGE task force. So I think there is a workforce that remains, but the star power of Musk does leave. That might be good for DOGE, though, because there's been a lot of distraction. Yes. A lot of people have been focused on him versus what they're doing. Because not only are they making these major cuts, right? $160 billion saved. That's incredible. They're also innovating and bringing, frankly, the government up to speed with modern technology. They showed so many packets of all this paperwork that is physically done and physically carted around. We shouldn't be running our government like that. And that's how also things can kind of be swept away, because if it's on paper somewhere and it's not on a database, you don't have to realize that, oh, this one government official has 3 credit cards and there's no paper trail because it's all physical paper and not digitized. So I think it still exists, and maybe even if it's less flashy, could actually be better for DOGE.
Okay, Jerry, you're the person who is rarely satisfied with what's been. You always want more of the thing. I find you're the one. You want it faster. You want more of it done. DOGE says they've saved $160 billion. I think that's pretty dang good, but are you satisfied?
We want more. I mean, no doubt about it. And proof's really going to be in the pudding, right? Is this really going to get taken out of the budget as we talk skinny budget and budget beyond? Will we really see it go away? And here we're going to have to rely on Congress to get its act together, and I don't have a lot of confidence in that. I really want to see DOGE continue. It's probably the only government entity that I really want to see get traction and do their job as best they can. But I want to ask you guys, did you see Bret Baier interview the DOGE guys?
Yes.
Because
loved it.
It totally changed my view of what they were, who they were and what they were doing. These guys were like CEOs and super sophisticated. They weren't just, the way the New York Times and other media had portrayed them was as like some kids that you knew from
the 20-year-olds who were hacking your Social Security.
Right. And it wasn't that way at all. These are super smart people, which is what it takes to get rid of this stuff. The other thing that also needs some investment probably is modernizing systems, because as we know at the IRS, their computer systems are horrible.
Every government agency.
Yes.
The VA, go through the list. And Elon is bringing that. I mean, AI will expose so much and help our government work more efficiently. And as America, we should be leading the charge on these newer technologies and these advancements.
So Taylor, I'm always interested in what DOGE discovers when it kind of looks under the hood of what's going on in government. This is the DOGE team talking about some of the things they found at these nonprofits that they're looking at in government. Take a listen to this.
Thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban. So just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several years.
So this is the Institute of Peace. It's one of these nonprofits that nobody's ever heard of, but our federal government sends them money and deleting data, payments to the Taliban.
You know,
this is what makes DOGE popular.
You know the company that I thought of when they said they started deleting all the data before the feds could come in? Enron.
Yeah.
Remember? Enron started like ripping things up, putting things through or even Bernie Madoff, right? Putting them in the shredder, like shred everything, the feds are coming. Not to say that this is what's happening, but if you're deleting over 1 terabyte of accounting records from the several years because you know that the big guys are coming into town, to me that doesn't look good, right? What are they hiding? What are they deleting? Imagine too if this is a private company. Can you imagine a CFO deleting data as we were coming in and your accountant, I don't know, KPMG, EY, coming in to look at your books and you're not able to account for where things are going. So to me, this always comes back to DOGE's promise, which was operate like a private sector. And all the critics say, well, that's not the government's job. The government's to be the government. No, for me, that is the government's job, is to be to work for me. And we think if the private sector has proven over the last 100 years in capitalism, 300, whatever, that it's more efficient, then let's do it. My worry, and I am agreeing with Jerry a little bit on this, 160 billion is great, but when we think about what was promised and the big run up within the equity markets, September, October, November, every note I read was so excited for $1 or $2 trillion because we have a debt problem, we have a deficit problem. We've been talking about how important the 10-year Treasury yield has been and refunding all of the debt that's coming due. My worry is in Washington, anything with a B is a rounding error. You need a T to get people's attention. Good start, but this doesn't even begin to tackle my long-term worry in this country, which is we have a deficit and a long-term debt problem, and I need 1 to 2 trillion. It's hard for me to get excited about 160 billion.
Tiffany, what has to happen to put a T behind the numbers?
Well, Congress needs to rein in their spending.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think so? You think he's got the skinny budget. It's not as aggressive as a T, but it's pretty aggressive.
Yes.
I mean, do they have the staying power to get more done?
Well, we're going to find out very soon. As they're working on the reconciliation bill and working on extending tax cuts. I wish I could make them permanent, but I just don't think we are there yet. But Congress, we have to get back to pre-pandemic spending. It is completely out of control. To your point, Taylor, what is that going to look like? I think there should be a bill on President Trump's desk here soon, end of May, perhaps. But what does that actually look like when you crunch the numbers? Congress needs to stop spending. And I don't know what it's going to take to get them to truly understand that.
They need some sort of, all the incentives run the other way when you're in government. All the incentives are to have the building built with your name on it, to give money for highways in your district. I mean, everything says spend more money makes you more powerful. Somebody has to break that loop.
Well, that somebody has been DOGE, and it may be without Elon Musk at the top, but there's a lot of folks committed to it. We'll see if they can keep it up.